Lavatide Nieuport 1600 from Vivictus magazine, number 105, part of the AIR, I guess, family of games. It is the Spanish, I guess, activation. I think I'm continuing with precedence. So Zapena has activated with his charge order. I thought I would try when I'm done with the commander putting their order marker there underneath them, so that so I'm not distracted by it. So now I clearly see that on the Spanish side we have Mendoza with his march order. That's Mendoza right there with his march order, and we have Bukoy here with his charge order. So we're still on the charge precedence. So I do think Bukoy picks up here with his charge activation. So that's his musketeers. Oh, his tercio here. There's a line of cavalry here. I'll go ahead and note that they are. Go ahead and note before I get started that we have. So there's a T here for tercio. Yeah, tercio. Yep. M here for musketeer. Actually, I'll give what the rules say. I'll do this just once. So T for tercio means 1,200 men. That's why it's a double hex. Think of each hex as being able to hold up to 600 soldiers. So since this is 1,200 soldiers in this tercio, it is a 2-hex or double unit. It's made up of 40% pikemen and 60% arquebusiers. And then up here, obviously, we have the musketeers. That musketeer unit goes to this tercio. They have the same name on them. So the M unit is a manga of musketeers. That's 600 men, all musketeers. Again, that musketeer unit goes with the tercio. Here we have two obviously mounted units. They have a G. That means they're gendarmes. 2 gendarme units. Each is about 200 men. Equipped with lances and armored. That's gonna. I think there are at least some. Well, there's at least one rule to cover those. If I remember, maybe I'm thinking of another game. We'll get to that when they get into combat. And then over here we have a mounted unit that is an A. Oh, they're arquebusiers mounted. So they're 200 to 300 men, equipped with arquebuses or carbines, lightly armored. And then back here, a few hexes behind, there's a C unit here. C is cuirassiers. So 200 to 300 men equipped with pistols, armored. Pistols are used in close combat. So they're behind there. All right, so just to review one more time, because the whole wing, Bukoy's wing, has a charge order. That means all units must end movement closer to the closest enemy unit. If a unit's already adjacent to an enemy unit, it may not move away from it, but may change facing and or perform offensive fire, and there are no rallies. I'll tell you what I want to do. I want to look at whether these 3 cavalry units, even though they're a mixture of 2 different types, the arquebusiers and the gendarmes, I want them to charge the Dutch cavalry there. So I'm going to look at that. Obviously I want to advance my tercio this way to kind of extend the line here. Yeah, basically those 2 things. I want to look at a cavalry charge, although this is all difficult terrain over here. But I'll see about charging. If they can't charge, then I'll at least want to get into close combat and then advance the tercio. So I was wondering about the unit types, because I vaguely remember from Kirchholm, I think it was from Kirchholm, that not all mounted units automatically get to charge. So charge is actually very simple in this game, I think anyways. So you have a charge marker, and it's nice that it has the C/G on there. That's a reminder that only C and G type units can charge and get this +2 bonus. So as long as so this is the core of charging here. If a G or C unit advances a distance of 2 hexes in close combat without changing facing, they receive a bonus of +2. So that's really simple. So I think it is, oh, actually, I'm going to move the first unit 1 because now I'm going to look for countercharging. Now I doubt that the Dutch arquebusier, mounted arquebusiers, can countercharge, but they do have 2 cuirassier units there. So I imagine that they probably can countercharge. Yeah, so I'm ready to place that once the units satisfy that rule for charging. When the charge marker applies to the head unit and to the supporting unit, only 1 charge bonus applies per close combat. So let's see about countercharging. Okay, let me go through it's interception, not countercharge. It's interception. It's cavalry only, which makes sense. Let me go through this step by step. So if an enemy unit enters a hex in the interception zone of a cavalry unit, so it's obviously it's Bucquoy's Spanish activation here. The gendarmes start charging. They move forward 1 hex. Let's look at this cuirassier unit here. The 3 hexes here. So in other words, the 2 hexes forward in the frontal hexes. So 1, 2, 3. This is this unit's interception zone. This cuirassier unit also has this interception zone. So the moment the Spanish gendarmes move forward 1, they enter the interception zone of both of these cuirassier units. But let's take a look at this one that's directly opposite. So that's the interception zone. Again, these 3 hexes for this cuirassier unit. Oops. 1, 2, 3 for this cuirassier unit. The unit may attempt to intercept. Okay, so it's an attempt. We'll see if he's successful. But this is a once per enemy activation. Once per enemy activation has thrown me off in the past. Now I see it's one. They can attempt once. Each unit can attempt interception once per activation. That makes sense. Instead of attempting over and over and over again. So this unit will do its 1 attempt to intercept now. And what you do is, well, you roll on a table. I'll get quickly through this. You look at the current order of the unit. So the cuirassier unit is the vanguard, the Dutch vanguard, under Fera, where he talked about him. As a matter of fact, he already activated. He's under charge order. By the way, the fact that they already activated is completely irrelevant. See, they've already activated with Fera's Dutch vanguard activation. But a cavalry unit that has a cavalry unit whose wing has already been activated can intercept. So the fact that they've already activated and moved, for that matter, is irrelevant here. What is relevant is what's the current order. So the current order of Fera, again, I have to check charge. So they need to roll a 4 or less, and there's 1 modifier, and this is important. I have to add 1 to the die roll, which is bad because we're trying to get 4 or less. And that's because the original morale, so we're talking about the printed morale, is 6 or less. The lower left there, the 6 against the dark purple box there. So because of that, we have to add 1 to the die roll. None of the other modifiers apply. Okay. Oh wow, we still get it. So they roll a 2, plus 1 is 3, which is still 4 or less. So they successfully intercept. So how do we do this? I believe, well, let's pick up again. If the modified roll is less than or equal to the number listed, the intercepting unit is moved adjacent. That's what I was wondering about. Adjacent to the enemy unit, and movement for the intercepted unit must cease. So The Spanish gendarmes stop, cannot move any further. We move our successful interceptor forward once like that. And by the way, the intercepting unit is marked with an interception mark. I can't find interception markers in this counter mix. I don't know what happened to them. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a charge marker on them just to remind me. Obviously the unit wouldn't have a charge order marker on them, so that'll be my interception marker. I might have interception markers in the counter mix for, actually I probably do have interception markers in the counter mix for Kirchholm, but I don't have that game handy. And more importantly, the intercepted unit loses any charge marker, right? So the charging Spanish gendarmes they lose their charge marker, which is understandable. That's the whole point of intercepting. And in the ensuing close combat. So I think the ensuing close combat is just going to be a straight up melee there. Okay. So we're going to do the exact same thing again. The next Spanish gendarme is going to charge forward. Now this caresser unit's going to try to intercept. The difference is its printed morale is 7, so it does not have that penalty. So it's just a straight 4 or less. Wow. They roll a 3. So they successfully countercharge. By the way, 2 or more units may attempt to intercept the same unit. You roll separately. Yeah, so just to, let's see, the player rolls the die for each attempt as he announces it. So I think what they're saying is, if this unit had unsuccessfully intercepted and stayed back there, the Dutch side could have attempted to intercept this same unit with this unit. So I don't think there's I don't think there's a one-on-one limit, and I don't think there's a limit of declaring all your intercept attempts beforehand. But in this case, of course, I knew what was going to happen. I knew that this unit was going to charge next, so he successfully intercepts. So we're going to have some nice melee there. See if I have another. I may not even have another. I don't think I have another. Yeah, guess I don't. So put this unit between them, showing that they both have intercepted. That was interesting. Now we have to continue on because these units, they have a charge order. So let's see. This unit obviously has a movement allowance of 10. They're spending 2 per movement in the difficult terrain. So can't they go 2? Let's talk about facing changes here. So this is interesting to me because there's going to be combat on units that are frozen in an intercept. So 1, 2, and then 3 for mounted unit to change facing 1 vertex. That's 3 altogether, and 4, 5. And so then it spends 4, 5. It spends 2 to fire. That's up to 7. And then it spends 2 more up to 9 to get a +1 on fire combat. So this unit has spent 9 altogether with a movement allowance of 10. Started here, 1, 2, 3 to change facing, 4, 5, 6, 7 to fire, 8, 9 to get a +1 on fire. They're also firing into the flank of that intercepting cavalry. Okay, so +1, and they have to roll a 5 or better. Oh wait, fire on flank or rear of enemy. So +2. +2, yeah, that's easy. Roll a 1, 2, 3. Oh wait, low is not good. Okay, so they miss. That's 3, yeah. Okay, so then this musketeer unit's going to go 1, 2, and then 3, 4 to fire at the again, the intercepting cavalry there. It's interesting. 6. They're a musketeer unit. They needed 4 better. No modifiers. No modifiers. Okay, so 6 is 2 more than 4. So this is interesting. So the intercepting cavalry has to pass a morale check with a +2. Oh, wow. They roll a 2, 3, 4. Okay, I think they passed their morale check, so there is nothing from the fire. So these units moved up on the flanks of the intercepting cavalry, unleashed fire to no effect. I finished moving up the rest of the wing, so we're ready to go on to close combat, which is the 2 cavalry face-offs there. Let me make sure that's right. Where is that? Sequence of play. Yeah, close combat. Units adjacent to enemy units may engage in close combat. So we're going to have, I think it's 1-on-1. I don't think there will be modifiers, but I don't think there'll be any modifiers for charging or interception. I think those all cancel. All right, before I show real quickly how this was done, I'm going to tell you what happened. This unit attacked this unit with support by the musketeers. The musketeers can support a mounted unit attacking a mounted unit. So they rolled horribly. The Spanish rolled horribly. They rolled a 1. Modifiers all canceled out each other. So this is a 1 result, which is the attacker is going to be reduced 1. Reductions are all by morale levels, which I'll explain this real quickly. But the attacker is reduced 1 level and retreats 2 hexes. The defender is going to go down 1 level, 1 loss. Over here, the Spanish did horribly again. The modifiers were -1 for the gendarmes. Gendarmes attacking the cuirassiers here, supported by the mounted arquebusiers here. So all of the net modifiers was -1. They rolled a 0 for a -1, which is going to be attacker loses 3 levels and retreats 2, and the defender loses 1 level. But let me show you real quickly the combat table.